I think everybody, tell me if you guys agree with this. If you go into my career, let me know if you want to be a starter ASAP. Hey, what's up, YouTube? You already know I'm AllCity with AllCityLiveTV.com, and thank you for tuning in. What are the chances that NBA Live could come out with a successful basketball game for next gen? We're going to talk a lot about that in today's video, man. Like, can they knock the king off his throne and take this monopoly right from under 2K? 2K has gotten lazy with their releases, especially for next gen. They touted that the game was built from the ground up, and all of their courtside reports said that they were going to introduce so much more new type of gameplay. And when we get on the game, we witness so much of the same, a lot of goofiness out there. And I think it's a perfect opportunity for NBA Live to come on in and take some of these gamers from 2K. Someone like myself who's a bit frustrated and kind of exhausted with 2K antics. I would very much appreciate NBA Live dropping something that'll make me go on over to EA and play an NBA Live game. And I'm sure a lot of you guys will probably feel the same. I'm not exactly sure how you guys are receiving 2K for next gen, but I gotta tell you, I personally am not receiving it all too well. Maybe my expectations were a little high, and that's understandable because it is a next gen console, and you got this AAA company with a great new piece of hardware to really explore and blow the minds of gamers out there. And then we come and play 2K, and it's like you can't even join your friends. Like, what type of nonsense is that? And then we witness just a ton of goofiness, like these canned animations. And anyway, I just mean to say, this is not to really down 2K. This is more about NBA Live making a comeback. If you guys are not familiar with Scott O'Gallagher was the producer for gameplay on 2K. He is now taking on a role as creative director for EA. And a big reason why NBA Live couldn't release that great game is because there's a lot of red tape at EA, and it's a little bit more difficult. EA is a bit more rigid when it comes to creativity, so the developers don't have as much freedom as they do at 2K. So EA has hired Scott O'Gallagher to be the creative director. And now that he's the creative director, that may eliminate a lot of the red tape for EA to create a great game. And hopefully someone who has been producing content, producing gameplay for 2K can take his knowledge into EA and make something great, make something similar to 2K without all the goofiness that we have become accustomed to as 2K players. I think we're a bit sick of it already, especially knowing that we went into the next generation of gaming and it feels like we actually took a step backwards in gaming when we play NBA 2K21 on next gen. At least I feel like we've actually gone backwards. I'm a veteran of the game, and one of my favorite releases of 2K was 2K16. So whenever I'm comparing a 2K, I'm actually comparing my experience to the 2K16 experience, where I felt like I was constantly learning. And I felt like my progression meant if I increased my skill, then I felt that progress in my gameplay. In 2K, it feels like you never able to kind of increase your skill and see that progression on the floor. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you increase your badges and your attribute points, more times than not feel like my player is just worse out there. He doesn't meet my expectation. I don't know if I ran into a build that has meet or exceeded my expectation for gameplay, let alone one day you're shooting lights out, next day with the same exact jump shot, you'll miss every single shot out there. So it seems like it's more like 2K really just makes it difficult for the user to enjoy themselves. And I think that's where they're lacking the most, is the idea of enjoyment. I know enjoyment and entertainment is subjective. I understand that, but it seems like being that there's just this constant roller coaster of emotions while you're playing 2K from one game to the next, one day to the next, it just feels like there's no stability there. You can't say I'm gonna get these badges and I should be able to play like this consistently. It's just not ever the case. And a lot of people may say, well, real life players always go through slumps, and this is not real life, man. If we real life, you wouldn't be able to grind out Hall of Fame badges and things like that. Real life, you wouldn't be able to do a lot of the moves that you do on 2K. So let's kind of put that argument to the side and consider that it is a video game, and 1 second they want to like tout simulation, and the next second they want to kind of praise or put on the forefront arcadey type of gameplay style. And that's what I'm noticing on 2K. There is no skill gap. It seems like it's more arcadish, and it's more like a balance between arcade and simulation, and they put simulation in to the game at the most dull moments, just dulling the experience for the user out there. Like, I try to play My Career in 2K, and it's like it becomes simulation when you gotta sit on the bench and the camera actually, I don't know what developer thought that this was going to be a good idea, to leave the camera just facing this actual person holding the controller, just sitting and watching the back of his player's head, and you have to simulate, like you have to go and hit X to simulate the time, and it'll just kind of, you know, go forward from there, and then it puts you at halftime. So now you gotta sit and wait for the whole halftime experience, hit X, and then it'll put you in like on defense or at a foul. Like, they just don't, they 2K just doesn't get like the user experience. They're so stuck in their world of development that they're forgetting that there's an actual person holding the controller, sitting and having to watch this stuff. Nobody, I think everybody, tell me if you guys agree with this. If you go into My Career, let me know if you want to be a starter ASAP. Let me know if that's the case, because again, that's another problem that I find with 2K, in the idea that they think it's okay to like add simulation at points in time where it really dulls the experience for the user. If I go into an NBA game, I want to start and get the most minutes as possible. And a lot of you guys may be like, well, that's not a real life thing. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to play real life. I would have went for the NBA IRL. I'm not trying to do this. I'm trying to live vicariously through 2K and play basketball. So let me get out there and play basketball. Don't waste my time. And hopefully Scott O'Gallagher will bring these thoughts and these concepts into EA and introduce something that's way better for the user, way better for the gamer out there. And that may very well be a possibility. From what I understand as well is that NBA Live is just in the planning stages. So it may very well be about a year or two before NBA Live introduces a comeback and works on knocking the crown off of 2K's head. And hopefully that's the case. I'll remain optimistic because 2K definitely needs some competition out there to keep them on their toes. I hope you guys found this video helpful and or informative, and if you did, please consider dropping a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, as we're gonna have a ton of 2K content coming your way. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.